Every time I come in the kitchen, you in the kitchen, in the goddamn refrigerator.
I sure am hungry.
Yo, welcome back to the Morning Dinner Podcast. Today on the episode, we got Ryan Shewchuk in the house.
What's up, everyone? Let's get weird immediately.
So give us a quick little intro to who you are and what you do, man.
Sure. So I just realized today that I've been working as a professional creative, in a sense, for 20 years now.
20 years.
20 years. I'm probably your oldest podcast guest so far, so pretty excited about that.
Could be. 20 years ago, I was 7.
Okay, well, I was not. So, yeah, just a little rundown. I mean, I'm originally from Toronto, but I grew up in Vegas. I moved here when I was 3. So kind of old school Vegas. I recently moved to Seattle 3 years ago, and as a month ago, I'm back. So Vegas sucked me back in. I missed home. I missed my network. I missed my friends and family. Yeah, I started early on right out of high school playing Street Fighter 2, doing nothing, and I got a job as a web designer, the title and everything, for a porn company.
Ooh.
For an online porn company. Amazing job.
Yeah, I would imagine.
I was 18, and I'm working in porn.
Yeah.
Online porn. So I'll tell the story. I'll make it quick. But I was hanging out with a buddy who was doing some computer work, hardware work for this guy, and he was like, hey, stop by in the middle of the night, the back of a strip club, and they're building this maze. It was like built out of wood and everything. And there were little can I say, I don't know, pocket vaginas in different areas of the maze. Yeah. And they had a robot, like a RC car, with a dildo on the front of it, and a camera, like a pre GoPro, right?
I was gonna say like a GoPro.
Yeah, but this is 90. This is like 98, bro. Right?
This is innovative stuff right here.
Yeah.
A little film.
And
GoPro.
they basically had created a way to control the robot dick online.
Yeah.
And if you plowed it into one of the vaginas, you would win prizes. And I said, how do I work for you guys immediately? And my buddy just goes, oh yeah, he's a web designer. And this is 98, right?
Yeah.
I might as well. Who else was a web designer? I might as well.
98 was there? The internet was out, right? At that point,
You're making him sound ancient.
Bro, I didn't find out about the internet until like 2003.
I had an internet connection, 28.8 modem in like 94, 95. Really? And, it was just me on...
Well, was it lonely out there?
There was a lot of porn. That's for damn sure.
Is it really? It was still popping like that?
I mean, you guys probably didn't know, like, internet or IRC chat rooms. This is pre-AOL chat rooms, right? Where you had to, like, find this shit. It was called internet relay chat.
Wow.
This is predating AOL chat, where it was, like, monitored and only 30 people can get into a chat room.
Yeah.
It would be hundreds of people. The weirdest fucking people that were probably all dudes saying that they were girls, and you'd be like, ASL, what's up? Let's chat.
ASL.
And so I had a pirated copy of everything. I know that this is a running theme as pirated software. I had like Photoshop 3, I think, and I just used to put my face on super ripped dudes and just send it out to girls all night long, and then go to school tired as fuck. It was my life. And then my buddy goes, yeah, he's a web designer, because I was just in Photoshop and I would make stupid local. I didn't even know that the internet was a thing, right? Like I didn't know you put it out on a server.
Yeah.
And so I had this website that I created. It had so many fucking animated GIFs on it.
Bro, I think that was the internet when it first started out. It was like
the funny thing is,
blinking
animated GIFs are still the best, right?
Yeah.
This is 20 years later. They're still the best.
I would love to see an animated GIF like
I would love to
today.
see my first website I ever designed. He was like, oh, you design websites? And I go, yeah. You want a job? And I go, yes. And I started designing porn sites, and like legit ones too. Like I designed cams.com, still one of the top in the world.
He said, have you ever heard of a little website called Pornhub?
You ever heard of that one? I designed gay.com, the first gay.com.
Really?
That was I had to like stand with the owner.
Yeah.
For it felt like forever.
Yeah.
And remember when you probably don't, you guys are young. Remember when porn sites had like enter pages?
Yeah.
Right? Like the first page was like, are you 18?
Yeah.
Yes or no? And you had to
I think
leave.
some of them still have that.
They probably should.
Yeah.
I designed gay.com, and it basically had a shirtless guy in jeans. And he was just like, you couldn't see his head, just saw his torso and his junk in his jeans, and it just said gay.com, enter right now. And the guy goes, can we like animate a dick coming out of his jeans? Like, and I was like, well, yeah, I mean, I can do anything. I'm a Photoshop master. And I sat with this guy and made an animated dick for hours. And he was like, it's not big enough. And I go, all right, sir, I'm only 18, but I've only seen maybe mine. But
that's got to be a hell of an experience. Like you're animating a dong and he goes, it's not big enough. Well, all right. Yeah. I guess we just raised the size of the brush.
But yeah, so I did porn site. I designed so many porn sites. I just got bored of it. And then I did web design, graphic design. It turned into basically like user interface design, because at that point I was kind of like, I didn't really care what the owner thought, like what his favorite colors were or what fonts that he liked. It was like this aspect of like, but how does it work? Mm-hmm. Does it work? Is it? Are people signing up? Are they navigating through the website? So that got me into user interface design, and I got hired on at Vegas.com in, I don't know, maybe 2009, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
To basically like redesign their shopping cart. Mm-hmm. And I was super bored with it. And this was the year after Twitter came out, like 2008, 09, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And I was on Twitter like a beast, right? I was just like, I love this shit. And I actually created their Twitter account without them knowing. And I would just sit there and answer, I would just find people talking about like, what's the best place to go in Vegas? And I would just answer them.
Yeah.
And they found out, and they were like, hey, why don't you just do this full time? And they just made me the head of social media there and gave me a bunch of money to build out Vegas.com. And I loved it. It was great. That brought me into what I'm doing now, basically, which was like, I was tired of like, okay, I'm going to tweet for you. I'm going to post on your Facebook. I mean, it's still super valuable, but I knew at that time, like, give me some money to like create advertisements.
Yeah. And
let's really increase the bottom line, and let's really drive revenue to the website or to your email list or to whatever. Mm-hmm. And so, it was that aspect of like, cool. Yeah. Your Facebook posts are gonna be great. You can post 50 times a day. You can tweet 50 times a day, but let's take some dollars and, see some real results.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been doing, primarily paid social, paid search, paid media.
Yeah.
For the past, I don't know, let's say 6 years now.
Yeah. Now in 2009, the dollar was worth more than what it does. Like the dollar could do more in 2009 than the dollar can do now, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Can you speak a little bit more about that? Like how has it changed as far as like when you put $20 into a post back in the day versus when you put $20 into a post now? What's the difference? Like how much of a difference is there?
The difference is supply and demand, right? So there were less people posting or advertising.
Yeah.
And so you're basically like your costs per impressions were cheaper. Now it's just, there's only so much, we'll say Facebook as the example. There's only so many ads that they can put on your newsfeed per day, right? Anybody's newsfeed per day. They can't have, 90% of your newsfeed
right, because then
ads.
it turns into News Central.
Because then it just turns into
Central.
garbage, right?
Yeah.
So the limited amount of real estate that they have, they just have to charge more for it. And so it's not a matter of like, well, we're just going to charge you more. It's just going to be like, to show 1,000 impressions of your advertisement, it's going to cost X. And how you get around that and how you become better at advertising is just utilizing their algorithm to say, okay, listen, on the basis, we're going to pay X dollars per 1,000 impressions. But if we have better quality content or more people are clicking it or, it's performing better than our competitors, then we'll get a discounted rate or you'll get a discounted rate. Oh. And that's how you sort of optimize your ads.
So, does it matter like how many? Does it matter how many likes or how much like organic attention you have on your Facebook page? Like let's say we just started a Facebook page for this podcast, right? Because we just did like 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Yep.
Do we have to pay? Does that affect how much money we have to put into it to get the exact same amount of attention that somebody like, I don't know, Bud Light would have to put into an advertisement?
I mean, Bud Light has infinite amount of budget.
Yeah.
And they don't give a fuck
yeah.
about just like blasting it out to everybody with no return whatsoever other than just eyeballs.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the difference. Mm-hmm. The thing I would tell you is somebody starting fresh, and I deal with this all the time. Like I have a full-time job, but I also work and consult with small business owners and things like that. When you're starting fresh, you definitely want to have the likes, the page fans and things like that. Like a lot of people are like, oh, the numbers don't matter. They do. Mm-hmm. And you're going to need to spend money to get that stuff. Here's why though. If you have, the more fans you have, the more friends of those fans you can advertise to. right?
Yep, that makes sense.
If you have 30 fans and each one of those they have 100 friends, well, there's your ceiling right there.
Right.
The more likes you have and comments and engagement you have on a post, here's the trick. This will be like a tips and tricks. Spend the money into paying for engagement on your various posts. It doesn't have to be every single one. You might want to put a couple dollars into every single one because you never know which one is quote unquote going to take off.
Right.
Sort of organically. But $5 or $10 or something like that.
And that was going to be my next question. Like, how much is a good amount to put into a post? Because the thing is, I've done like on Instagram on my personal like photography page. Like I've put like $5 or $10 into a post, but the return on it isn't as much as I would have expected. I maybe get like an extra 15, 20 likes. It's
Sure.
not,
It's all the targeting. So the thing about Facebook is they're trying to make it easier and easier and easier for the average business owner or page owner
to spend money.
Yeah. Right? Because that's how they make it. They're not necessarily trying to help you be successful with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's where somebody like me or somebody, whatever, with some sort of experience will come into play because I have different campaign structure and different tactics to sort of like, okay, we're going to figure out this will be a campaign and it's just targeted to getting engagement to your various posts. Again, not every single post. Every single post that you create, whether it be Instagram or Facebook or Twitter is another beast, should have some sort of purpose.
Yeah.
Right? It should have some sort of call to action to get them off of Facebook, one way or the other, onto your website, onto doing something, right? Where you can sort of, convert something or someone to something.
Yeah.
Get their email address, get their phone number, something, right? Buy something. So as long as the posts have purpose behind them, have a hyperlink, have a call to action of something, spend money behind it. Because here's the thing. Let's say you do get 100 likes and 25 comments and 40 shares or something like that, right?
From that boost.
From that boost. Well, I'll call it a boost. I would never tell you guys to boost posts. On the front end, there's a back end way to do it, but it's essentially the same thing, but just call it different. Let's say you do get some sort of, that's called your social proof on that post. That post ends up being a very good candidate to actually turn into an ad, a full-fledged ad, and serve it to hundreds of thousands of people. Not just, we're going to post, when you boost a post, it just goes to your fans, essentially, right?
Right.
And if you don't have any fans, it's going to no one, right? Mm-hmm. And even if you have 1 million fans, it's only going to like, maybe 5% of those people, maybe, over the course of the whole entire boost.
So if I have like, let's say I have 1,000 likes on my page, if I spend $1,000 on that boost, it's only gonna go to that. I mean,
it's gonna go to your fan base. I mean, you have additional targeting to go outside of that.
Yeah.
But it's not as full fledged if you were going behind the scenes and going to the actual advertising or advertisement, platform and doing it there. You can set up audiences. And the other tip I would tell you is if you have a website, you need to have the Facebook pixel installed on. You need to have every tracking pixel you can.
The Facebook pixel? What is that?
Okay, so this is going to get good. So every network has a tracking pixel, right? YouTube has a tracking pixel, which is essentially Google and AdWords. Facebook has one. Twitter has one. LinkedIn has one. Again, for the sake of this conversation, we'll stick with Facebook. You put the Facebook pixel, which is essentially a piece of code from Facebook onto your website, and it now is tracking every single user that's coming to your website. As long as they're logged into their Facebook account on their desktop computer or on their phone, they're getting tracked. The beauty of that is now you can create audiences behind the scenes and say like, okay, now this next ad I want to post, I only want to show it to people who have been to my website in the past 30 days.
Damn.
Or I want to show it to people like the people who have been to my website in the past 30 days, because there's different tactics, right? Mm-hmm. If you're sending an ad to people who've been to your website, they already know who you are, you would think, right? They've heard of you, they've interacted with you or something like that. Well, Facebook has so many data points that, hundreds of thousands of data points on every single user, all of your likes, your demographics, your income, all that shit, that they can go, okay, you know what? You have, 1,000 people have been to your website in the past 30 days. We can find you another 2 million people who look exactly like those people based on the Facebook data. And
Yeah.
then you go, cool. Now all those people don't know who I am, but they're as close as I'm going to get it to the people who already interact with me. I'm going to show a different type of ad to those people. That's going to be an introductory ad into who you are. You guys are videographers. There's no better tool right now on Facebook than video.
Yeah.
Every post should be video for you guys. Seriously. And there's a term called, I know this is going to be the podcast of derailment. I know this is a trend.
Oh, it's a trend on our podcast,
Right,
bro.
love it.
And just just to cut you off real quick,
Yeah.
the reason we know that video is very important, which is why we opted to do video live streaming for this podcast, because we know that video is kind of like a little bit more attention grabby as opposed to just having the audio. Like, audio is convenient because you can put it on the drive to work. You can listen to it on a road trip. But like for myself, whenever I watch a podcast, if there's a video version, I'll watch the video.
Yeah, if I have the time and eyes on it, like
Yeah.
I definitely want to see something.
And I'll almost
visually.
take away almost more from the video, because then I can kind of like, see it's just more in depth, I feel. Video.
I think audio is still going to be, it fell off a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And video took, but I think audio is coming back. I think just because everyone is so fucking busy throughout the day. And it'll kind of like coming back from Seattle, like many people use public transportation, unlike here, right? There's not as many people riding the bus and stuff like that, but people just sit there and they're on their laptops and they just pop on their podcast there because they're doing something else, or, they're on their phone or something else. But so I like that you guys are doing both. It makes a ton of sense. But as far as getting people to stop scrolling in their Facebook feed with their thumb,
Nothing does that better than video.
it's video, right? So you guys are on it there. There's a term. Somebody just said information for real estate. There's a term called carpet bombing, which is you create. Let's say you're doing a video for a restaurant or something, right? They're a client of yours.
Yeah.
You create a video about, 30-second video about, going into watching them make the food, the value of it, why it's so cool, why the food tastes great. And then you just blast it out to everybody in that city, right? So say Vegas, right? You just say, okay, I want to create a campaign, and the objective is video views. And video views are cheap as fuck on Facebook.
Really?
Getting clicks is hard. Getting conversions is harder, more expensive. When I say hard, getting video views is like fractions of a penny to get video views, right? So you say you throw $100 and get
30,000.
thousands of video views. So what you do, again, if you have that Facebook pixel and installed on your website, and even if it's not going to your website, what you do is then you can create an audience going like, okay, I blasted out this video. I want to create an audience of people who watched at least 50% of that video. Right? So say it was 30 seconds. Now you're saying, okay, out of the 100,000 people watch this video, and 25,000 watch at least 15 seconds of the video. Cool. Well, the next ad that I'm going to create to actually get them in the door or give them some sort of discount to come in to eat my pizza,
It's going to be targeted specifically.
it's going to target to the people who at least watch
25,000.
15 seconds of the video, because now they're, excuse the pun, but they're hungry for more, right? At that point. So then you go, cool, hey, want $10 off when you come in? Yeah, they're going to come in. Or if you're smart, you go, click this link, go to our website, give us your phone number, fill out a form, give us your phone numbers now, because of text messaging. Email is still the king. Text messaging is a monster. Get them to fill out the form, get them the phone number, and then use some sort of third-party SMS tool and text message the shit out of them twice a week.
You can do that?
And vice versa with the email, right? Just email them a shit ton.
You can email them a shit ton, yeah. It's just, put it this way. You're on your phone all day, right? How many times are you stopping what you're doing immediately to check an email versus you got a buzz and you got a text message? You're going to check that text message
100%.
right now.
It's 100% effective.
Right.
If I get a text on my phone, there's a 100% chance that I'm going to look at it if I'm available within the...
You're
in
just
the
going to
minute.
check it out.
Yeah.
And people, just like email, people are so lazy that they're going to not bother to they're going to delete the text. They're like, okay, it's not applicable to me this week. I'm not hungry for pizza this week.
It's crazy.
But I'm going to get another text message next week, and it's going to be like 25% off you come in this week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And all that's trackable back into a lot of the times on the the client's like point of sale system. They can track that back to Facebook as well. Facebook
Yeah.
can literally go, cool, this many people actually came in and ordered food.
It's crazy what notifications do. Like I noticed, like because I have the Starbucks app on my phone, and this is all built. It has nothing to do with. I don't think it has anything to do with Facebook or anything. But just because I have an account with them and I have notifications turned on, they send me a notification every time. It's like, yo, see you at happy hour at 3:00.
Oh, that was today.
Yeah.
Or yesterday.
Yeah, whenever it is. It goes out like once or twice a week. And like even if I didn't plan to go to Starbucks, just because they send me a little text with the little emojis on it, I'm like, damn. You know what? I wouldn't mind some Starbucks right now. You
Why
know,
not?
it's
Get it.
They
Get
got
yourself
you,
a
bro.
frappuccino.
They did it.
Get yourself a frappuccino.
they had happy hour yesterday, man. I got one of those.
Yeah,
Don't-
Starbucks had a happy hour. So,
Yeah.
do they have this there? They did not.
I don't think so, but they have half off
Thank you,
frappuccinos.
Shewchuk. I'm drinking one now too.
Yeah,
You
I'm
got
sorry
me.
it wasn't Zima, guys, but they're
all
getting
good,
harder and
man.
harder to find.
Zimas are making a comeback though, right?
Oh yeah, I used to drink those in high school. You put the Jolly Rancher in, you let it dissolve.
Oh no, I don't know about that, bro.
Okay, so you know what a Zima is, right?
Yeah, the old.
It's the
beer.
Smirnoff Ice.
Yeah. Oh, is that what it tasted like?
It's the grandfather to Smirnoff Ice.
Ooh.
It's citrusy.
Grandfather.
There was Smirnoff Ice, then there was Tequiza, which
Tequiza.
was terrible. Then you got iced.
What about Four Locos and all that? Is that
Four
not
Locos
even
came
the same
after,
realm?
I believe. They're fucking terrible.
Yeah.
I used
But
to
what the
drink them
trick
all the
was is
time.
you would take the Jolly Ranchers and you would drop one in and it would dissolve and then it would be that flavor, whatever flavor of Jolly Rancher you wanted. There you go. You could have,
It's like lean.
exactly. It is. It's pretty lean.
This podcast just went to a whole nother level, Chuck. What's
to
on
the-
your
You're welcome,
mind, bro?
Houston.
Went to the deep side.
So tell us about a little bit about your move back to Vegas. When you left Seattle, you came back to Vegas. First of all, why did you come back? Like, I know you had told me before the podcast there was a certain experience with as far as like your equipment went. Like,
Yeah, I mean, unrelated to me coming back, but you know,
it was unrelated. Okay.
yeah, it was just a bad luck. But yeah, so you know, I've been a photographer for I don't know 10 years now. Nothing like professional, nothing that like I was like off on my own, just working freelance. Just you know, more hobby than anything. Part of it, you know, was being at Vegas.com. They would send me everywhere, right? I'd go to EDC and just shoot photos for 3 nights, things like that. But you know, I accumulated a lot of gear, and just so happened, I was on a shoot and came back and just left all my gear in the truck. But you know, we had a covered parking, underground parking to the apartment complex, very high end place.
Yeah.
I was paying thousands of dollars a month to live there. And just came out the next day and somebody had broken the window and stole all my shit out of there.
People suck, man. You know what? And it's funny because I've left my equipment in my car like after a long shoot. Because like if you've been on a shoot for a long time, you want to get home, you just want to go to sleep.
Yeah.
But like one time, I specifically remember like I leave my equipment in the car, and after like half an hour, I was like, nah, I'm just gonna go get it. And no joke, the next day my car had been broken into.
Yeah.
So I can
that's
only
crazy,
imagine
yeah.
that how much that would have damaged me, bro.
I mean, you guys got a lot more equipment than I do, but you know, it wasn't insured because I had just picked it up over the years, and you know, I wasn't terribly, you know, it's not like I wasn't eating because of photography. Right?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like it wasn't
yeah.
my life's blood by any means, but you know, it still sucks. It sucks to get thousands of dollars of equipment stolen, but. Honestly, I just took it as a challenge to upgrade my phone to the iPhone X, buy these moment lenses, and just go, you know what? Let me just see if I could shoot just like I used to,
Yeah.
minus flash.
Yeah.
With
Well,
just
I'm
my phone.
pretty sure there's like I saw a Kickstarter for an adapter that you can get for your iPhone that triggers like external
I did
flashes,
see that,
bro.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure that
It had like a little
they
light
got-
box. That was
Yeah,
got
you could do
everything
anything
nowadays.
nowadays, man.
I love it.
But yeah, how are you digging those moment lenses?
I'm loving them, man. I realized that they were out of Seattle. They've got a really good YouTube channel. And I was hooked. My buddy George had bought them from Kickstarter probably when they first came out, and he was just like, "Dude, you should get these." I was like, "All right, you know, they're pretty inexpensive, like $100 a piece."
Yeah.
There's a wide, there's a
Fisheye.
fisheye.
I got the fisheye.
You got the
Like a
fisheye?
macro?
Yeah.
There's a macro and there's a tele, and they're now actually just coming out with anamorphics.
Yeah, those
Yeah, I
anamorphic
seen that.
lenses
Film
are
lens.
wild.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is like you said, their YouTube and everything, like they're very clean. Like everything they do is like super dope. Like I think they're skaters too. That's why like
Yeah.
or something like
Yeah,
that.
they
That's
are.
why
I
was
think
like,
you have
oh.
to skate to work there.
Yeah, I was like, damn, that's.
I think I may have seen like Casey Neistat or some big YouTuber promote the.
Oh, they did a big PR release for the anime.
Oh yeah, I bet it was huge. Like I saw when it hits my feed, I know they spent some money on it because I subscribe to like the top
Right.
YouTubers. You know what I
Right.
mean?
And I'm not trying to
So-
like, promote them like crazy and say it because that's the only thing I have for my phone. But like, it's so easy. Like the case, you can like take off the lens in a few seconds
Yeah.
and switch it off. That's what makes it really nice.
The footprint of your equipment goes from like having a DSLR to with all these expensive ass lenses to now you have your phone in your pocket, your camera's in your pocket, and your lens is in the other pocket. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And you can
it's
swap
nice.
to any variation that you want.
I mean, listen, it's no knock to, I still prefer a DSLR, but at the same time, my shoots were primarily outside.
Yeah.
And carrying around, a huge friggin' light,
A tripod,
and multiple lenses. I was just like, this is just a pain in the ass, honestly. Then, for a time I did have a studio in my apartment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was a lot easier. I can just leave the shit up and it's all set up, and lighting is a lot easier to do. But at the same time, I'm kind of looking at it like right now I don't want to spend the money to like rebuild to go out and shoot that stuff. I'm like, screw it. Let me see what I can do with my phone.
yeah.
Because
You've been
for
pretty
me,
happy with
again,
the
because
results.
I'm not working off commission or anything like that. It's just all for like,
You're literally
I just
having
want
fun.
content.
Yeah.
I want content for my social
That's
media.
tight, man.
That's another thing that I've realized. Like whenever I go out and do shoots, like it's fun. You're using all this expensive equipment. You're using your strobes, your external strobes, and
Yeah,
everything, and you're
yeah.
creating the dopest images. But you still got to factor in the fact that today's attention is like this. So if I post, like it would be better if I post like a little boomerang of me at the shoot, and then that same day, boom, there's a finished product. As opposed to now you have to wait 2-3 weeks for me to get. I finally find some time, sit down at the computer, edit the raw files, and then
Right.
finally put it out. You know what I mean?
I mean, honestly, for me these days, like I fell off a little bit with like Instagram stories and stuff, but I was doing Snapchat stories for a while. Like when I moved up to Seattle, I was by myself, and I was just bored. Right?
Are you still on Snapchat?
No,
Okay, I was gonna say.
no.
Yeah.
As soon as Instagram stories came out, I was like, bye.
Yeah.
I didn't even like Snapchat because you can't really get a good sense of how many followers you have. Listen, I'm a numbers guy, right? I
Yeah.
work in data all day. I look at analytics all day. I'm very aware of my followers and engagement rate and all this stuff. I'm not going to be the one that tells you like, yeah, it's whatever. I don't even care. I'll get there one day. I'm like, no. Like I know how many followers I have. I know how many followers I lose. I don't obsess over it by any means. But Snapchat just made it a terrible way. None of those people are my friends.
Yeah.
They're people that follow me. They want to watch me get drunk and cook. They want to watch me get drunk and tell stories.
Yeah.
There's a lot of drinking involved with my stories. But that was the thing. It was like the photography for me wasn't about my followers.
Yeah.
It was more about just for me. I wanted a creative way to do what I love. If I'm doing it for the followers, my followers come to watch me be an asshole on camera.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's fine by me. I just need to figure out more ways to keep them entertained.
I'm waiting for the day that Instagram Stories comes out with the way for you to be able to do what Snapchat does as far as geotagging or like being able to pay for a certain demographic to be able to see, because you know how on Snapchat
Yeah.
you can have like a snap filter for like that certain area,
Right.
Which is dope. I've actually used that feature and it's pretty handy.
Like
but
for weddings and things
for
like that?
weddings and
Yeah.
things like that. But like I'm waiting for Instagram to start monetizing that too for Snapchat, for Instagram Stories.
I mean, if they think that it's valuable, they'll do it, right?
Yeah.
They've got the money to do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, little by little, they've been kind of like breaking down Snapchat. Like, they just come up with new features, better features.
Why
You
not?
can do polls. You
Right.
can do GIFs. I mean, come on, dude. Like, the only reason somebody would be on Snapchat nowadays is if their audience is already there.
Yes.
There's
or
no
they're 13.
Yeah, exactly. There's no real incentive right now
Right.
for me to have a Snapchat versus having Instagram. And personally, for me, I got like 40 people on my Snapchat. That's it. I have no reason to post on there.
I mean, right. I mean, there'll be people that tell you be everywhere,
Yeah.
but you only have so much bandwidth. You only have so many hours in the day.
Yeah,
Like,
man. I'd rather just.
Like, start where it's most valuable and work your way down. If you end up getting the 40 people on Snapchat, you do. But if not, tell them
Not
to go
the
to
end of the
Instagram.
world.
And I know there's apps that you can download that actually like let you, like, if you wanted to make an Instagram post, it'll post to your Facebook.
Don't do that.
Oh really? Don't do that.
Don't do it.
Why?
Don't post to multiple places. Facebook and Instagram hate it, and they will throttle your reach
Really?
a lot of the times. the people like Sprout Social and Hootsuite and all that stuff, they'll tell you otherwise. But you should post natively for that network.
Yeah, I think
even
that's
if
what Kyle
you're
said.
doing the exact same. I literally used to do the same story on Snapchat, and then I do it again for Instagram, and it would be a pain in my ass. But just with the nuances that they have, right? Like if you were to put a poll on your Instagram, and then you already have the videos downloaded, and you go to Snapchat, it means nothing, right? Because they can't interact with it.
Yeah,
or vice
it
versa.
doesn't make,
it doesn't make any sense, right? But I mean, again, if you don't have the time, okay. But if you do have the time, you should take advantage.
Make it exclusive for each platform, basically.
100%.
What about for because I know like on Instagram stories, if you auto share to your Facebook, because Facebook owns Instagram, right? If you auto share to your actual Facebook story or whatever the hell they call it,
I mean, they're going to give you leeway because it's their family,
right? So okay, and the polls are clickable, right? When you transfer,
I don't know. I rarely post to my Facebook story.
Yeah.
Like for me, my different networks, I have different audiences for different networks, right? So
Yeah.
like the people that are following me or I'm friends with on Facebook are vastly different from my Twitter followers and are vastly different from Instagram. And so I sort of, if I can, I will sort of like curate the content differently for each. And I'll speak to those audiences differently.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the polls are
That's cool.
are clickable or not.
How do you feel about Twitter? Do you think it's still an effective platform?
I know Kyle Harris, who was on the podcast. He loves Twitter. That guy loves Twitter.
Twitter God.
And I used to tweet 50, 60 times a day. Especially when I worked for Vegas.com, it was essentially my job, right? And I'm sitting there going like, listen, do you guys want some random faceless person called Vegas.com tweeting out to these people? Or do you want an actual human being that knows about Vegas to essentially take on that role? And they were like, yeah, do it, right? So I was the face of Vegas essentially for those networks. And so I kind of had to do it. And my followers grew because of that. My followers haven't grown on Twitter in probably 5 years.
Yeah.
And it's not because I don't think Twitter's viable. I'm just lazy on Twitter. I'd rather be in front of a camera than writing a tweet.
Yeah, and plus just the fact that you can't edit a tweet, it pisses me off.
That's still ridiculous.
I think it's
Yeah.
also just the attention span on Twitter too. It's very, very fast. Where Facebook isn't Facebook also like one of the most viewed ones out of all the platforms?
Oh, for sure.
So of course all the attention's there, all the eyes are there.
If I had to pick, I mean, it's for my own personal use, it would be Instagram by far.
Definitely,
It's gold. And then Facebook accordingly. I mean, listen, I get paid essentially working in Facebook, so I love Facebook, right? It's my bread and butter. But Twitter, I'm like, meh. If I tweet, I tweet. If I don't, I don't. I don't really have like a cadence that I really. There's people who are like, they tweet inspirational things or
Yeah.
the
The only reason I keep up my Twitter is because there's a big cryptocurrency community on Twitter
Yeah.
and Telegram.
I mean, my new job is in that blockchain crypto world.
Let's talk about that
Let's
real
do it.
quick,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
this
nice.
perfect little segue, right?
Yep.
I didn't plant that at all.
Keem's so ready for this. He loves his crypto.
So-
You're gonna be horribly disappointed. I am not a crypto person.
Okay, well, hold on. Podcast is over.
All right, see you later, guys.
All right, so tell us about it because it's called hosho.io, right?
Yeah, host show. So basically, again, I've been there a month now. I've got some friends there that are, the people there are some of the smartest people in the industry. The developers and the founders. It's crazy, and how they sort of got me was like, listen, man, it's kind of the Wild West right now, with crypto and blockchain and stuff like that. We are not like a crypto exchange. We do not give crypto advice by any means or any tokens or any coins.
Yeah.
We are a
Facilitator?
we're a smart contract auditor. So if you're a CEO or you're building an application, decentralized application, you're essentially writing a smart contract.
Yeah.
Which is essentially like your application says it's going to do this for this.
If
you
the
know what I mean?
requirements have been met.
The requirements have been met. Like I literally go like it's sort of like if this then that or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I think like you do this, it does this type of thing. So we're basically a third party auditor to make sure that all the T's have been crossed, all the I's have been dotted. Because you might have your development team, but bugs happen, right? And you sort of want to get another set of eyes. Especially when you're writing to the blockchain, because once it's out there, you can't change it. You know what I mean? Once that application is out there, it's out there.
That's why forks come out.
Right, right. So again, I don't want to. I'm no expert by any means. Let me just preface with that. But again, we're a smart contract auditor. Some of the smartest developers I've ever met. And once you get Hosho certified, you're essentially saying that, like, listen, to the community, to the blockchain community, like, we've done our due diligence to get all the bugs, squashed and things like that. And for their investors, they want to have some sort of like, security for the investors to go, okay, yeah, we want to invest in you because you've been audited.
So it's basically like how you go to a restaurant and they're what is it called when you go to a restaurant and they're certified by the Food and Drug Administration. There's like a rating.
The FDA?
The FDA? No, I don't think it's the FDA.
The
that's for
health.
meat.
The health thing.
Health department.
Like
the health department. Like it's past quality check. You know what I mean? Like
it's definitely quality check for these applications.
Okay,
that's cool.
So what is it that you do specifically for Hosho?
I manage all the paid media. So essentially, I'm out there not only like putting Hosho's name out there in Google AdWords or in Facebook or in Twitter, LinkedIn. But you're right. Like, I've never seen Twitter ads work so well than in the crypto space.
Yep.
Right. It's a huge community. I heard you talking about Telegram. Huge Telegram community. We have we have a Telegram channel. Right. Deals are being done nonstop through Telegram. My buddy said, "Hey, give me your Telegram." I go, "That thing that Twitter bought 5 years ago that
really?
it's on my Twitter."
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
I did not know that. That makes so much sense. Because I'm part of all these Telegram groups on what's it called on Telegram.
Yeah.
But then whenever I go to the actual like page for Telegram, they also have their Twitters like the first one.
Yeah, I was sitting there going like, that thing that I signed up for because I signed up with Shewchuk for everything so I can squat my own name. But I was like, I've never even used it. I've talked to zero people. It's like WhatsApp, right? I've never used it, but I have an account.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm sitting there going like, whoa. I log in. I'm like, oh, okay. Crypto does not sleep, and it is in Telegram and
man.
Twitter.
All these groups like on Telegram, like if you go to any crypto community, they have at least 10,000 people in that chat.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go somewhere where it's less than 10,000, like it's rare, but like most of them have 20 to 40,000 people in that one
It's
group
insane.
chat.
That's wild.
I gotta turn notifications off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
All my
I'm
notifications
like,
are
guys,
off.
I'm turning this off.
Yeah.
So again, I manage, and then on the bigger part, I'm out there looking for potential, businesses or CEOs or CTOs or something that are looking to get their smart contract audited. Because people are doing those searches and things like that. So I'm trying to drive leads to our website for our sales team to essentially pick up and close, make money.
So speaking about like marketing and advertising, since you're like a guru in this space, what do you think is one of the biggest mistakes that small businesses make that they should be doing something better that they're not doing right already?
Small business owners?
Yeah, small business owners. Like, let's say I own a little coffee shop or a little donut shop, whatever it is, and I'm trying to find new customers. What's the biggest mistake that they don't? What's the biggest mistake that they make?
I'll tell you this. If you're out there trying to get clients, you want to do paid advertising and you're trying to get clients, here's what I would say is if you have a client that doesn't know their own numbers, they don't know their own bottom line, they don't know what an average cost that a customer generates for them, it's going to be an uphill battle for you, right? So as a small business owner, know your numbers, right? Like the paid advertising side will come. Again, I wouldn't say just jump into Facebook and just willy-nilly start to throw things out the wall, because what happens is you're going to feel like you wasted your money and Facebook doesn't work, and I'm not going to try it again. But it does work. But you have to have a plan. You have to have a goal.
Yeah.
Right. And then you have to have that structure. But if you don't even know your own numbers, you don't know how much you can spend, right, in the first place.
Is that like meaning like a marketing budget in total, or
not necessarily your marketing budget, but just what kind of ROI you need to get, right? Got it. People use terms like customer acquisition cost or lifetime value, customer value, and things like that. So you need to know how much your overhead is versus how much money do you need to make every single day. To just keep the lights on type of thing. Before you say, okay, now I have this marketing budget or Facebook marketing budget and I can spend this, because a lot of the times I sit there and go like, it's not going to be enough.
Yeah.
So like you come to me with $200 a month for your business. I hope you have very low expectations, because it's going to take some time.
Yeah.
To build up these audience, and you have nobody going to your website, or you don't have a website, and things like that. Like, the first thing I say is, you got a website? Is the Facebook pixel on there? No? Well, we're going to spend a month just generating traffic that is not going to convert, or we're not going to be able to track it properly, but it will come. And, it's just going to take time. And a lot of people just, they don't either see the value because they failed in it, or they don't have the time.
Do you think like a podcast like ours, do you think we need a website for our podcast?
I mean, you need a website,
Regardless.
period.
Really?
Yeah, because you can always capture, there's data to be had.
That's true. I guess that's one of the reasons we don't have a website, is because I never thought about capturing data. It's outside of like YouTube, the analytics and
The
Instagram.
other thing, here's the thing. The other thing is like, don't get like a fucking Wix site or something like that. Like,
Hold on. I was gonna say, what are your thoughts on Squarespace?
I think Squarespace. I haven't used Squarespace. I put together like, say, a photographer portfolio once. I think there's a lead capture form or something like that. Put it this way: whatever system you build, just make sure that there's some sort of information capturing tools that they give you.
Yeah.
So anything you could see analytics and whatnot, or
The analytics, of course, but something that you can say, okay, listen, like I want to get subscriber, like email list. I want to build an email list. I want to build a phone number list. I want to build, like if you just have a website and there's nothing to really like, again, I'll use the term like restaurants and stuff. They'll just go like, here's the homepage, here's the menu, that's a PDF, right?
Yeah.
And whatever. But there's no way to actually capture the people's information.
I know on Squarespace, like we've had it for indieflare.com. We had like the landing page be a sign up for stuff or like newsletter.
As long as you can capture, sorry to spit. As long as you can capture people's information, it's fine.
Yeah.
Right. Go ahead. Squarespace is very viable.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves is on my newsfeed nonstop on my Facebook feed, blasting out Squarespace.
he's getting that big ass money.
He's getting a huge check.
Big ass check.
I
use WordPress.
They're on every blog.
Is WordPress like your main go-to for most things, for most building?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, it's just so flexible, and I have such a huge network of people that are like, I'm not designing websites anymore. I'm long past those days. Like,
Okay.
like
So
I don't
you're
know what I'm
strictly-
doing
So
anymore.
when did you stop? Like when did you stop designing web?
I stopped at Vegas.com.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was a web design manager for a company for a while, and it was actually payday loans, which was almost worse than porn. It went like for shadiness, it went like porn. Then I went into payday loans for a while. There's actually a documentary on Netflix about the company that I was working for and how they got busted and stuff. So that's a whole nother podcast episode.
I know what I'm doing
Soon.
tonight.
Right, exactly. I'll give you the name. And then I was just designing websites. That's what got me into user experience and UI, was this thing of like, okay, I want to focus more on getting more people to not just come to the website, but fill out that form.
Yeah.
Right. That's your conversion rate, essentially.
It's like a little
conversion
game.
optimization.
Our buddy Rosemary did video work for Vegas.com.
I think she was after I left.
Oh, okay. How
Yeah,
long would you leave?
definitely.
I think I left in maybe like early 2015.
Oh, it was definitely. Yeah, I think she started in like 2017.
Yeah.
Okay.
I definitely would have known her, but yeah, she's out.
Are there any tools that you use personally that are like, first of all, I guess this is a two-parter. Like, are there any tools that you prefer to use for when it comes to like marketing and advertising, for local businesses? And also, are there any free tools that you recommend?
There are various tools. I wouldn't say that like I'm married to any of them really. There's tools that act as layers on top of your existing, like say Google AdWords or Facebook, but they're very expensive. I wouldn't say if you're like a freelancer.
It's more for like, but like
It would be more for like a company that has a big budget.
infinite budget.
Like the previous company that I was at, I'm literally spending in upwards of $20,000 a day on Facebook ads. A day.
A day?
A day.
Wait, say that one more time.
$20,000 a day in Facebook ads.
Jeez.
So
Some people don't make $20,000 a year,
right.
especially in today's.
So they have huge budgets. They can use whatever tools they want. I would say, if you're getting into paid media, especially like say Facebook, Instagram, I mean, Canva's free, right? Like it's a pretty good tool. Adobe Spark's a good tool. As far as the creative's concerned, if you don't have the whole Adobe suite and things like that, and you just need to bang out ads, because here's the thing with Facebook advertising, you got to build a lot of ads because everything's testing. You got to find out. That's where the numbers come in. You've got to find out what's actually performing
And
best.
what you're going to target and whatnot.
Right. Outside of that, and what you're going to say, but there's a ton of creative to be had.
Oh, for sure.
Right. And you can't just set it and forget it. That's what a lot of business owners do. too. They go, all right, I built this Facebook campaign and then that's it, right? And it's like, no, every week you've got to have new creative coming out because people get bored of it.
We have to start making ads for the podcast, bro, where we're just in front of a Lamborghini and we go, yo, before you scroll,
I like it.
Let me show you how I got this Lamborghini in 30 days with no money in the bank.
See?
But you got to watch this whole
But
podcast.
you got to download my ebook.
Yeah. The webinars?
shit,
You got to see my webinar.
Oh, shit.
I don't get into that stuff, man. People ask me, they're like, why don't you do it? I go, because I'm not a douche. I mean, I am, but I'm like, that's not my thing. Like, I don't want to do webinars. I don't want to sell. I don't want to be a coach.
I always wonder why people give away so many things for free on the internet where they're like, I'll follow like a photographer and like, yo, sign up for my free workshop. And it's like, well, what are they really getting out of it?
Your email. Right. Then they're going to email you twice a week.
Yeah, that's why like some of my like the YouTubers that I watch that are photographers, they'll start off like I know Frono Photos does this. He starts every video saying, before you get into this video, I have a free shooting in low light ebook. Check it out down here and download it. And it's like, well, not to those words, but
here's the thing, man. I can't knock anybody's hustle. If that's your thing and you're good at it and it's working, go for it. You know what I mean? I just honestly, I'm in a lot of ways with my own content. I'm just lazy. Like I'd rather just produce content for someone else.
Yeah.
And make them successful than sitting there going like, okay, now how am I? Okay, now I got to eat because. That's the other thing. You're never going to hear me go, I'm an expert in this. I'm a ninja. I'm a guru. I go, no, I have a job. And, for behind the scenes stuff. Now, for my own personal brand, I'm crazy.
Yeah.
Right? But I don't mix the two, really.
Right.
That's I don't hang out with other advertisers. I don't go to meetups.
Networking events.
I go to networking events if they have open bars.
Yes.
I tweeted last night. I said open bars is my cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's my Bitcoin. Free
That's
booze.
how you get the conversation started.
Exactly. And I can talk you to doing anything. I'm like, that's the other reason I'm back in Vegas. My network is much larger.
Yeah.
Seattle, man, is just expensive.
Is it really? Is it?
Let me give you a little taste. When I moved there, I lived in downtown Bellevue, which is essentially the Summerlin of Seattle. But I worked there, so I didn't have a car, and I was like, okay, I can walk to work. I don't have car expenses. I was paying, when I was all said and done, I had a studio apartment at 500 square feet, and I was paying almost $2,500 a month.
Oh, my God.
And the bedroom didn't even have a door.
Damn, that's like my bathroom right now.
Right.
My bathroom doesn't have a door.
Damn.
And that's like normal prices.
That's $2,500. That's
$2,500.
crazy. That's really expensive.
So when you couple, yes, do you make more money there? Hopefully, right? But not enough to cover. I mean, I had a condo here. I was paying $825 a month for 2-bedroom, 2-bath.
Yeah,
right.
On the east side, my parents paid like $850 for like a 3-bedroom,
full house.
2-story. Yeah,
like
bro.
literally.
So when you couple that in with the traffic, which is as bad as LA probably.
Right here or
Seattle.
Yeah, okay, I was gonna say.
Seattle.
So when you couple in the terrible traffic and just the cost of living is just ridiculously high, and my network is 5 people there, I was just like, you know what? Let me get back to Vegas.
Yeah.
Where I can just make more things happen quicker.
Is
Your
this
ROI
a saturated city just like LA and whatnot?
Vegas?
No,
Seattle? It's very saturated. I think the difference between LA and I've never lived in LA, but Seattle is obviously a lot more tech focused, and everybody you're going to run into is either working for Microsoft, working for Amazon, currently working for Amazon, or worked
for Starbucks.
You know what I mean? Or Starbucks, yeah. And so it's this very smart people. I think it is saturated to that extent, right? But if you're just if you're a hustler, you're a hustler. It's just I was sitting there going like, yeah, but all my people are back in Vegas. So I'm like, let's go back.
I was gonna say one of the biggest selling points to me for Seattle was the weather. I'm the kind of guy that likes dark, cold weather. That's my thing.
It's great.
For that I think it'd be great. But now that you mentioned the rent, I'm like,
I loved the weather, but I didn't work outdoors. Right, I sit in front of a computer screen all day.
Yeah.
I didn't. When I first got there, I shit you not, man. It felt like it rained every single day for 3 months. Every single day.
See, I can't do that.
Every single day.
And it's funny because I think...
And it was dark all day.
They have one of the highest suicide rates. Like
Seattle?
Yeah, because it's gloomy or something all the time. I might be making shit up, but...
I hear that's... I heard that's like depressing and things like that.
Yeah.
But that didn't bother me, at the end of the... Like, the summers there can't be beat, man. Like, right now,
beautiful.
it's like high 70s... The sun stays.
why
The
I
sun
can-
doesn't set until like 10 p.m. It's ridiculous.
That's beautiful.
And it's great. And it doesn't rain for like 4 months. But then as soon as October hits, you're gonna get rain for the next 8 months.
See, I like that. I'm the kind of guy that like loves being outdoors when it's like raining.
Try to set up a
dark.
shoot though.
Oh
Yeah.
shit.
Well, here's the thing though. If I most of my shoots are gonna be indoors because I have a studio.
Then you're good, right?
Yeah.
Like I would converse with models, saying like, "Hey, I want to do some shooting." The other thing is it's very spread out there versus Vegas, right? And you can get to anywhere in Vegas now 25 minutes maybe, right?
yeah, you can't.
Like
really
you'd be
beat
like,
it.
I'd be like, "Hey, where are you at?" And they'd be like, "Oh, I'm in Ballard." And I'd be like, "Cool, I'm in Bellevue. We'll never see each other."
Yeah.
Even though it's only like 5 miles away, but it's such a pain to get over there because there's bridges and there's tolls
LA
and there-
basically.
right?
Same
And so
thing.
it's like, never mind.
tolls.
And I didn't feel like scouting all new places. Mm-hmm. Right? There's beautiful. Like I don't necessarily shoot lush greenery backdrops, which that's all they have there. I'm sort of gritty, right? And that's why I like downtown Vegas and stuff like that. Like I like pretty girl shitty world.
Yeah.
Is like kind of my feel. And I'm like,
Pretty girl, shitty world.
and I'm
I
like,
like
yeah, that brings me to why I ended up in jail. But,
whoa, whoa.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
We got to
and
bring that up now.
dive deep into this one.
Okay, so here I'll give you a for the photographers out there, videographers out there. Here's a tip for you, if I can leave you with anything. Do not shoot photos anywhere near train tracks. Did not know how serious that of a thing that is. So quickly, like I was with a model friend of mine. We had shot before. I was in whatever art district area, wherever the train tracks are over there, right? Commerce or whatever.
In Seattle.
Here.
No, here.
Oh, here in Vegas.
Yeah, here in
Okay.
Vegas.
Shit,
And
I shot on the train
I'm like,
track.
hey, why don't you stand by the truck? I'm gonna go scout out a little bit because there's some shady people, homeless and stuff like that. Whatever, they're not shady, but they're whatever.
Yeah.
So I go scouting across the train tracks. I'm looking around. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Nothing's really piquing my interest here. So I was like, all right, let me turn around and I'll head back. Well, a train started to come, and I was like, listen, I've seen enough movies and Stand By Me to know that I'm not gonna run to beat this fucking train with my camera gear holding. So I'm like, all right, I'll just let the train pass, and then I'll wait, and I'll go back to the truck, talk to her, and we'll figure it out. Well, the train just stops, like halfway. I'm halfway in the train now, right? It's a half a mile to my left and a half a mile to my right, and I'm sitting there going like, motherfucker. Well, what am I going to do now? And I see people getting out of the train at the front. I don't know if they're sweeping stuff.
What?
They're flagging. I was like, well, they're probably going to be here a minute. You know what I mean? Like, so, all right, well, I'll just shimmy my way in between the train cars and climb over the little whatever, the little connector.
Yeah.
And I do that, you're right. And I'm not climbing on a car. I didn't go inside of a train car. I just crossed so I could get over the tracks, and I come back and now we're just talking. I'm like, oh, we'll figure it out. Well, Metro showed up, cop car, no lights, no sirens. He just drives in, and I go, oh, he's probably going to tell us, hey, what are you guys doing? You got to leave. And he goes, hey, were you just over by those train tracks? And I was like, yeah. He's like, cool. You got to stand by. You got to come to me for a minute. He was just talking to me. He was getting my information, getting my license. Out of nowhere, lights, sirens, blazing around the corner like a Beastie Boys video.
Damn.
Comes another cop, didn't recognize this paint job on this car. He gets out, gun drawn, pointed at me, tells me to get on the ground,
What the fuck?
handcuffs her.
The
she's
girl that you were shooting
the
with.
model.
She's
Yeah.
like, what's happening?
Right.
Damn.
You thug.
And basically, he was the railroad police.
There's railroad police?
Correct. Yeah, that's what I said
Yeah.
to his face.
Yeah.
And I was like, huh? Like, even the Metro officer was like, ooh, this guy. And he was like, you just violated a federal offense. You made the train stop. And you basically, like, infringed on interstate commerce. Like, he was literally saying, like, the FBI can throw you in jail. type of thing.
You're basically Al Qaeda at that
I was Al
point.
Qaeda. I was the railroad Al Qaeda
Yeah.
for that day. And so took us both to jail, right? I was like, oh, sorry, I didn't know. I was like, I didn't. The train just stopped. Whatever. Takes me to jail, like not county but city jail,
Yeah.
right? I don't know the difference. Never been in jail. And I was like, this is a kind of a joke. And here's how stupid I am. I'm sitting there going like, man, I wish they'll let me keep my phone because this is going to make an amazing Twitter stream or Instagram, right?
Yeah.
They did not do that. They took a mugshot, looked at my butthole, gave me the orange jumpsuit, everything, right? And I was like, oh, okay. I was there for 12 hours. They gave me a bologna sandwich, which I did not eat. And I called my buddy George. I was like, hey, man, they like payphone. I was like, I don't know the last time I used a payphone. I don't know any numbers. They were like, okay, we'll give you your phone for 60 seconds so you can pick out numbers. Yeah. Meanwhile, I was borrowing my girlfriend's truck because she went on a bachelorette trip to Mexico, right?
Yeah.
So she has no idea what's going on. I can't contact her. She's probably blowing up my phone going like, what are you doing? Where are you? Yeah, man, they transferred me from the pen where they just throw in like drunk people and stuff like that. They transferred me to an actual cell, made me strip, put on the jumpsuit, like I said. I ended up in a cell for 12 hours with 2 other guys that were like had clearly been in there before. Like, they knew what was going on. Yeah. And I'm sitting there going like just trying to pretend, right? Like, oh yeah. And he was like, yo, can I borrow your number so I can make a call? Like my prisoner number. I have a prisoner number now, I think. And I was like, oh, I don't think I should. Yeah. I was like, I don't think I should let you have that, man. I finally got released when they knocked on the door. They said, you didn't need bail, basically. Like I was a first offender, so I didn't need to post bail. Yeah. But it was just a process. The process just takes forever. But I shit you not. Here's how I woke up. In the cell, there's no bed. There's just a sink, a bench, and a toilet. And I see these guys basically go, we're going to be here for a while, so we're just going to start to sleep. And I go, on the ground of this prison cell? I don't know, man. I've seen Oz. I know what goes on next. I shit you not. I got so tired, I literally just put my head. I knew I hit rock bottom. I'm just face down on the prison cell trying to go. I'm never going to fall asleep. Fell asleep. Woke up with the guy pissing at the toilet where my head was essentially. And I was like, this is not the way you want to for the train tracks, by the way. So
that's crazy.
Hey, but I bet you'll never shoot at train tracks ever again.
People are like, hey, let's go to the train. I go, fuck you. We're not fuck the train tracks. I'm not going anywhere near the train tracks.
So one thing, is it still on your record? Like that?
No, it got squashed because I had to go to court. I had to pay a fine, and they basically just charged it to trespassing. Which was funny. It was like the assistant DA or whatever it was. He was like, hey man, so you can either go to court and get a lawyer, or we can do this deal where you're going to pay $250 and you have to go to a class or something. And I was like, well, what class? And he was like, I don't know. Like he goes like, we'll tell you the Scared Straight or something. And I was like, what? I go, dude, I'm 35. Yeah. You're going to take me to Scared Straight? He goes, you are? And I go, yeah. He's like, oh, you can't do that. So they made me take a class for like people who had like DUIs. Yeah. And
damn,
so at the corner,
so you had to see dead people.
I had to go to the coroner's office
for jumping. Oh my god!
I had to go to the coroner's office where they had to sit there for 5 hours watching these videos of people who got DUIs. Then I had to see dead bodies in the morgue. And I even told the lady, she was like, "Why are you here?" I go, I had to write down while I was there, and I said, "Trespassing on the train tracks." She goes, "Are you supposed to be here?" And I go, "That's where they told me to be." And she's like, well, you're going to have a fun night. Go,
Wait, Chuck, how do you know about the dead bodies?
How
do you know about the dead bodies?
Because I know a few people who got DUI. So they were like, oh, yeah, I had to watch a video and then I had to go see a dead body. I was like, damn.
You know what's crazy is the first time, like, I used to think that shooting at the train tracks was cool. I'd never done it personally.
I've done it.
But
it's so cheesy, right?
I've seen dude, it's been a minute. Like, I've seen these photo shoots always. Dudes looking cool, girls looking cool, laying their head on the freaking edge of the railroad, and it makes for a cool little symmetry shot and everything. But it's like, there's been one too many stories where people die. And it's like, yo.
Yeah. I mean, even the police officer, he was cool when he was taking me to jail. Like, he had calmed down a little bit when we just got to talking, but he was like, here's the thing. I got to take you. So I can't let you go at this point. Yeah. But, yeah, he was telling me stories,
hey, man, I got to take you into jail. It's going to make me look bad in front of my cop buddies.
Exactly. Yeah, he was telling me, he's like, people die out there all the time, man. And he's like, or people, like, they'll park their cars out there. He said they were giving out tickets to people who just park their cars out there. I'm like, hey, man, what about my ticket? Why am I going to jail? You're giving tickets to people who drive their cars on the train track? That's insane. Yeah. What's funny is just off topic, I was like, when I was talking to the Metro officer, I was like, man, I just shot a girl there a week ago. And he was like, he's like, rephrase that. And I go, oh, with my camera, sorry. He's like, you can't just say you shot someone. I was like, oh, fair enough, sir. Fair enough. I was just trying not to get tased or shot.
Thanks. So now you know if you're shooting at the train tracks, get out of there ASAP.
Yeah, be
Do not do
careful.
it. I mean, it's already cheesy photos to begin with.
Yeah, no more train tracks.
Yo,
please.
yo, this is a public service announcement to everybody on my Instagram. If you're still, it's 2018. If you're still doing train track photo shoots, first of all, it's your first year getting a camera,
Right?
or second of all, you just don't know better.
You're going to jail.
And I'm
You're
gonna
going
find the
to-
number for the federal train police, and I'm gonna call them on your ass.
I'm gonna screenshot your
Something
post.
I thought it would be somebody like, on the little Looney Tunes.
I don't even know what that is.
I don't know.
Does that help like the tracks or something? You know,
Yeah,
the
it's
two
on the
little-
track, yeah.
The two little guys that go like this.
I'm still waiting for that bullet train to happen.
Yeah,
The one that's supposed to take you from LA to Vegas in like 30 minutes or something like that.
That'll be a haven for escorts on a Friday.
Yeah, we'll have houses on the moon before that happens. I feel.
Yeah, it's all because that once again I think like the e-commerce thing. It's that the reason why they're not building trains to go to other places.
Yeah.
Is because whoever owns the tracks, they don't want anybody else.
Right, they get
It's
the
that
money.
Same old shit.
Because China, right?
Oh,
That's what it is. No, that's what I heard.
That's a weird way to say it.
Because China. Because China.
I heard a little accent
That's the way
in there.
Trump. The way Trump says it.
Oh, okay.
China.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because China.
Where's this podcast?
Oh man, this podcast took a turn.
yeah.
That's
that was
good
hype.
though. It's all good. I guess that's pretty much. I mean, did you have any other questions, Chuck?
No, everything was basically said that I wanted to hear.
Excellent.
Do you have any final like tips
Final tips.
for somebody? Because I know that there's like social media etiquette, right? What tips do you have for somebody who like they want to start taking their social media more seriously? Let's just say like using it for an example, a photographer makes an Instagram account and he wants to go ahead and start posting. Like, what advice do you have for them to kind of like maximize their return on creating an Instagram account and putting in the work?
I mean, I would say, and I'll be the first one to tell you, I don't necessarily follow it all the time. Is you've got to be consistent, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the hustle will beat talent every day of the week.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, right? You don't have to be the best photographer in the world. You don't have to be the best videographer in the world. But if you're putting out the most content and you're reaching the most eyeballs, you're kind of winning, right? So, post as much as you can.
How often is a good amount of time to be posting? Like, is once a week okay? Is it like once a day? Like, how often? Because personally, and I don't follow this to a T, but like, I try to post like, I used to post once every 2-3 days. Like, I would post a set of 3 photos.
Yeah.
But now it's like, I'll go 4 or 5 days without posting.
I mean, I would say ideally you would post at least once a day. You just want to keep yourself top of mind, right? Like, but between Instagram stories and Instagram live, and again, this is the first time you ever doing a live because I don't like to edit, but when it's myself, I like to edit. Right?
Yeah.
I would say that it's probably almost just as important, if not more, to be blasting out more Instagram stories.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say because I post on Instagram stories every day.
Yeah.
like I'll post once every couple hours, man. Like I'm staying active at the top of
Yeah,
the
you really
little
do.
circles.
Shit
So
ton.
like I feel like in my even if I don't make an Instagram post, which I feel like whenever I do post, I want it to be like quality. But as far as quantity goes, every day I'm on Instagram stories.
Here's a little goofy tip, and again, I would put for your Instagram account or your profile, add an extra little circle in Photoshop or whatever around your face because
did
it's already
that.
going to be a circle, right?
I did that once.
I did that too.
I did that once.
I did that
it makes
now.
It makes it look like you have a story.
It
even when you
make
don't.
people are always like, "Hey, what's going on?" I
Yeah.
clicked your story. It's the same thing. I go, "Yeah, exactly."
For those of you who are listening that don't really understand what we're talking about, when you upload a photo to your Instagram profile, there's a way in Photoshop where you can add like an actual border around your profile picture that makes it look like
You have a story
you always have a
ready.
story active. You have that like gradient purple and
Gradient or orange or whatever.
yeah,
right?
whatever it is. And then when you finally do post it, you got that double ring. It's like ooh, it just looks nice.
Yeah. I mean, and get creative. Like I don't like to call people out by name, but I get super frustrated when I'm just like, again, you're creating the story, but it's not for you. It's for the people that are following you. You know what I mean? So like, actually create a story. A story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. It has highs and lows. It has a end result type of thing. I'm just sitting there going like, oh my God, it's so banal. The stuff, like, okay, here's my dog, and then here's the sushi roll, and then I'm like, tell a story. Like, the worst thing I posted about this probably earlier this week or last week is the new question box.
Oh, I saw that. You have everybody like, yo, nobody wants to ask you questions.
Here's the thing. That only works
If
for
you're a
hot
hot
girls.
chick.
If you're a hot girl, you could put you can just go, I'll put that on there.
Dude,
and you're going to get 100 questions.
It's funny because
but nobody wants to watch it.
Never in my life, and I will say this on the podcast, never in my life have I seen so many booty eating questions, bro.
Yeah. I said, no. The only people that are going to ask you a question are horny dudes.
Yep.
And for the rest of that follow your story for whatever reason, that doesn't make for an entertaining story by any means. You're essentially going, hey, everybody, entertain me
Yeah.
for my story.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Ask a question. You'll get so many better responses. Instead of going, hey, ask me a question. Customize it a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's what happens when things first come out. People they just want to try it. They don't think it through. Right? I'm sitting there going like, give it 20 minutes, give it a day, think it through, make an actual story that, that can turn into something. Because we're watching it. Our time is everybody's time is valuable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's only getting more and more valuable. Like people are starting to appreciate their time a lot more than they used to.
sure.
Because they have so much in front of them that even if they're nobody, they have nothing going on in their day. If they're gonna spend time on your post, it has more value attached to it just because of that interaction.
Right. I think the one thing I do love about Snapchat or miss about Snapchat, and I know that it's gonna make its way to Instagram is I used to create stories where you would use the face filter and you would change your face and the voice and everything like that. So I could actually create, it's just me at home, but I could create multiple characters and act like I'm having a conversation with my neighbor or whoever. That stuff, it was hilarious to me, right? And you could use it, or the face where I used to just change myself to The Weeknd. And I would before he cut his hair, I would just wrap a towel or something into some sort of dreadlocks and just be The Weeknd and just do a PSA as The Weeknd or as Kanye or something. And it was funny. It was good. I mean, but you have to have some sort of creativity. That's the thing, right? Most people are boring. It's just a fact.
Yeah.
Right. And so most of the stories you're going to find are super boring.
Yeah.
You just have to weed through them. That's why I unfollowed. So I unfollowed probably 4,000 people because I was like, I don't have the time. And the time that I do have, this stuff is super boring. I don't want to watch you lip sync in your car while you're driving. I don't want to.
What do you actually like seeing on people's, what they post? Like something meaningful or motivational or?
I've gotten a lot more into the tutorial scene on YouTube and stuff like that. A lot of those people have ported over to YouTube and stuff like that. But I don't get too much into it because I don't want to be too influenced, right? Like the same reason I don't follow a bunch of stand-up comedians on Twitter because I know my comedy is going to start biting them just subconsciously.
Yeah, that's what the human
right?
nature.
It's just human nature. So, but I mean, the content that I like to see is literally just telling a story, right? Like there's no reason if I were to give you a book and I say, here, read this story and it's fucking blank, you're going to be like, this is a terrible story. Why did you give this to me? You know what I'm saying? So, I like to be interesting. I like to see there was some time progression throughout the day or whatever. Because it only lasts a day, right? So it's okay, let me see what was happening all day. Even if you did absolutely nothing, you can still tell a story.
Oh, for sure.
And if you're not comfortable in front of the camera, don't make Instagram stories. You know what I'm saying?
That's me in a nutshell.
Chuck
He's
hasn't
really
used
good at it.
Chuck hasn't used Instagram in
I
2
haven't
years,
used any
man.
social platform.
And it's
fine.
ridiculous
it's fine,
because
right? I'm not knocking it, but if you're not comfortable, it should be about you. There's a time and a place where you're like, okay, this and this and this. If you're a landscape videographer and you're showing all these amazing places, there's totally that. But at the end of the day, people want to see. They want to interact with you as a person, not just as a...
Because then they become more familiar.
Yeah, it becomes more...
I know you.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you build that relationship.
Yeah. It's crazy because Chuck has the content to be dropping every day. Because he's constantly grinding, but he's so busy he doesn't have time to actually take care of his social media account.
And that happens, man. I mean...
I'm just lazy. Can't even lie.
Shame on you, bro.
There's a time and place. Here's the thing, man. If you're grinding and you're eating and you got a roof over your head... people are really like, oh, my personal brand, or I'm not going to even mess with somebody who doesn't have 20,000 followers or something like that. I'm like, listen, man, they could be crushing it behind the scenes. You don't know, right? Some people just aren't. It's not all about them. I'm a narcissist. It's all about me, right? I have no problem talking in front of the camera. I wish I could do it more, honestly. But
you wish your iPhone camera had a behind the scenes camera recording it.
that's a real thing. I mean, it's fine. I'm comfortable in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, and your stories are entertaining, man. Like I've seen your stories, and they definitely stand out apart from anybody else that I follow. Aside from somebody actually using their DSLR, like recording their story sideways and then editing together your stories are like top notch, bro.
People always tell me, they're like, why don't you do a vlog on YouTube and stuff like that? And I go, because I hate editing.
Yeah,
I hate it. I'd rather pay you guys to edit my vlog. Just let me film it and I'll just give it to you guys. The quick cuts, and then he was like, I'm like, it's fine. I get it. But I would hate editing that. I look at it just like, oh my God, they're in Premiere doing that? No, I don't want it. I don't want to do it. That's why I like the phone. I go, all right. I open up InShot. If you don't have InShot, the app on your iPhone, I think it's on the Android, it's amazing.
Is it on iOS?
It's an iOS, yeah. It's called InShot. It's like basically a video editor. And again, I'm not a professional. You guys are professionals, right? You're not going to go to InShot. But to make quick trims, quick transitions, automatically formatting for 9:16, so on and so forth.
Yeah,
it can't. I mean, it's so quick. Filters.
I can't tell you as a professional, like I love shooting with my camera, but I can't tell you how much more relieving it is to have just your phone on you, shoot something, use an app to edit it, and post it. Yeah, as opposed to like the whole process of having to wait. Now you got to import the footage. You got to make sure you have enough hard drive space. You got to because the raw files on these cameras are like 40.
Got to make sure the color's good.
Or sorry, 40.
Audio's in sync.
80 megabytes
and all that bullshit. Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean that's what I got into more. I literally used to twice a week. I would drink a bunch of whiskey and I would just cook Blue Apron shit. Right? I was literally trying to find out if I could get Blue Apron to sponsor me for this. They would. Do
you recommend Blue Apron? Blue
out of all the other ones,
Blue Apron.
Brew Apron.
Brew Apron? No, I don't like that one.
Brew Apron.
Blue Apron.
It was all right. I just tried to. I was like, I wanted to cut carbs.
Yeah.
And they was like super carb heavy. There's some other ones out there. I think I've tried a different one. Sunbasket.
Yeah.
Loved it, Sunbasket. If you're out there, no.
Try again.
Tag Sunbasket.
But I mean, they're fine. I mean, my thing was that. They're already just meals. I was literally doing it for Instagram. You know what I mean? I was like, I would get drunk and I would film it. My thing was like, okay, I got to film it. And then I got to put a hashtag on there and then I got to post it. And then my food's fucking burning. Or then by the time I get done with it, my food's cold and I'm eating. I'm like, oh, it's delicious. It's cold. Right. And so now I got to, just film it all first.
Yeah.
Save every video, go back and edit it. So you take the time, sit on the couch, have the full belly because you ate. And then post it later. Nobody's sitting there going like, but when's the next one coming? You know what I mean? Like I went out on Saturday night and I was like, I'm just going to film the whole day and I'll post it in like, okay, I'll do all the morning stuff and then I'll post that in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I'll film all the afternoon stuff and I'll post it before I go out at night. And I'll film it all night and I'll come home, I'll finish it and I'll sing TLC songs and I'll go to bed. Done.
I gotta download that app InShot, man, because I'm telling you, like the more excuses I can find on your iPhone to like edit mobile wise, because I have the darkroom app for editing photos, and I can't tell you how many times I've taken a dope photo on my iPhone and just edited in either Lightroom Mobile, Darkroom, Snapseed, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And these apps are so advanced.
Why
bro.
do you use so many different ones?
They just have they have different things.
Yeah.
Like
Lightroom's different than
I know,
Visco.
And they have different filter packs and things like that. But also like I use Facetune if I'm ever gonna remove like blemishes of a model's face or something.
I'm telling you what, every single Instagram photo of I shot with a model, Facetuned. I edited every single photo on my phone. Every single one.
There's two versions of it now, right? There's like
I think there's a Facetune tune or something.
Yeah.
Like I was like so lazy. I was sitting there going like, I could open up Lightroom, I could go this route, or I could just, grab all these photos or to AirPlay to myself or whatever, or Dropbox or something, and just edit it on my phone. Because here's what's happening: they're just going to post it on their Instagram. Yep. I'm not posting high res. I'm not putting it on a billboard. I'm not putting it in a magazine ad. Remove this pimple. Remove some of these, whatever.
Reshape this and that.
Reshape this and that.
That's crazy, man.
Done.
Apps are getting crazy.
Like, wow, you got me the photo so quick. I go, yeah, because I did it on my phone last night in an hour.
Yeah.
So I'm not a huge retoucher. I'm not.
It's being efficient with your time.
I think the one thing is I'm getting older. I just turned 40.
Yeah, you're like, I'm running out of time, man.
No, it's not even that. It's that these phones now are killing my eyes, man.
You said the phones?
I mean, just how small, like me editing on my phone, I'm like, at some point, I'm just like, well, I can't see anything for the rest of the
gotta
night.
get them
I can't read a
reading
text. I can't, I'm just like,
To
okay.
get the magnifier glasses.
Yeah,
you
I'm
know
going to
what
get,
I mean?
I'm going to get
Bottle
2
caps?
monocles.
It's about time, man.
So
Nice.
that is the one thing is it's taxing on your eyeballs editing photos. And
I can
videos
talk
on
shit
your phone.
because my eyes are already fucked and they've been fucked my whole entire life.
I'm thinking about getting that LASIK, man, where you could just they reshape your eye.
be
think my
good for
insurance
like 6
covers it.
years and then have to
No.
wear glasses again, probably.
Nah, my friend ended up doing it, and I thought it was like kind of risky because like supposedly there's a couple different types of LASIK, but like there's this one type that's cheaper, but if like something can happen where it can like mess up down the road.
It can mess
Yeah,
up.
I mean,
down
you
the
know what
road.
I like to hear is cheap surgery.
No, but I'm saying like it's not cheap. It's like $2,000 an eye.
Mm-hmm.
$2,000
You know what I mean?
an
$2,000
eye?
an eye.
Damn.
Yeah. Well, that was when he did it, but I think insurance covers a big part of it.
G.
But the way he did that surgery, I forgot. I think it's just called LASIK, but he does kickboxing, and he said he's been kicked a couple of times, like in the head.
Oh, yeah.
And he's fine. He's completely fine. I'm like, well, maybe it's worth it then.
I had someone get LASIK, and it lasted for about 10 years. They're wearing glasses again right now. So, I mean, just keep that in mind. I don't
Really?
think it lasts forever.
Yeah, it
Mm.
definitely doesn't last for. That's what I've heard. It like lasts for 6 to 10 years, and
Yeah.
then you'll probably have to go back to glasses, which isn't a big trip because I've never not had my glasses off my face.
Yeah,
and
you're
I
used
kind
to
of
it.
want to live that for a
sure.
little bit.
Yeah, I've been
like,
wearing
ooh,
glasses since I was like 12.
since
Okay.
I was a baby,
So,
basically. So
yeah.
I had retarded ass eyes. Still
All right.
retarded ass eyes.
Dope, man. So real quick, last thing, where can people find you online?
I'm Shewchuk everything, and everyone's going to misspell it. So it's SHEWCHUK.
No CK.
No CK. Do not put a CK at the end. That's the biggest.
Oops.
That's the biggest.
Oh shit.
Well,
No, but-
we're gonna go ahead and put all your information down below, so people can like go ahead and just click the bio if it's on YouTube or
Great.
the show notes if they're on the podcast app, and they'll go right to you. But thank you, man. Thank you so much for
I
coming
appreciate
through.
you guys
Yeah,
having
thank
me,
you so
man.
much,
I think
man.
this is an amazing podcast, man. Like just production wise, the setup and what you guys are doing. I think it's funny that like I probably out of the 8 or so creatives that you've seen on, I'm like, oh, I know Kyle. I go way back with Dalton.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like,
Dalton Campbell.
yeah. A baby when Insert Coins. I was there doing their website.
Ooh.
When he
That's
was
funny because
shooting photos.
that's how I met him. I was working there when I was underage. And they
Okay.
let me through the back. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh shit.
I used to shoot photos of Vegas streets. That was the. I was the.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
streets.
I was the only
So
photographer
you know
that
Rob?
used to do.
Do you know Rob Sayer?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
Rob.
you knew Zoe and all.
Yeah.
DJ
Oh yeah.
Zoe?
Yeah. Good
that's
friends
the
with those
homie.
guys. They were like, dude, you're the only one that can shoot photos here.
Damn, I've
Officially.
probably seen you then because I used to maybe I started shooting later in the Vegas street
Probably.
and then they ended or whatever.
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
that's cool.
That's
It's a
the one they
small-ass
did at
town.
the Cortez, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that. And I think I might have gone
Those
to
were the
one.
days, man.
Dude, I was a homebody,
That
bro.
was a dope thing.
Yeah.
I thought that was like gonna be the thing, but I guess people aren't.
Oh yeah,
good
all
with
those
money.
sliding through guys,
sliding through.
and then Fuku Burger guys. Like I used to go shoot all of their food trucks and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and all their food and stuff for them.
Don't they have like actual like establishments now? They
Yeah,
have
Fuku
restaurants?
for sure.
Yeah.
I think sliding through kind of
They
disappeared.
disappeared. Yeah,
Yeah, they were killing it though.
Yeah.
I love their food.
the old days.
Dope. Thank you so much for coming
Yeah,
through, man.
thank you,
Yeah, man. Thanks again.
And like I said, we'll put all your information down below. But until next time, this has been the morning dinner. Thank you guys for
Later,
tuning in.
y'all.
Every time I come in the kitchen, you in the kitchen. In the goddamn refrigerator.
I sure am hungry.